What's up, guys? It's Hunter back with another video. And today we're going to be going over something real. I'm going to be talking real because this is real life and we're dealing with the real world. And I hope y'all are locked in for this one because this is going to be a serious one. This will be a good one though. We're going to be going over why young men are so depressed or about to be. When I say young men, I guess we really mean below 25, but I just know I'm 22. It's really people entering the real world. I think a lot of people don't understand what they're about to walk into. And we're going to be going into that and why so many young men do feel so sorry for themselves and disappointed in themselves, and why if they don't yet, I've got a feeling a lot of people are about to. So let's go ahead and get into it. No one's making any fucking progress. No progress equals no dopamine. Okay, think about when you're young. I hope maybe some of y'all are really lame and really losers and you didn't even do anything when you were young. Think about when you were young, the competition was less, you won awards, or maybe you were athletic. It was a lot easier to excel at a young age. Your football team wins, you're MVP of something, maybe you're literally just an extrovert and you're nice to the teachers and you win a class award. I won a lot of those when I was younger, if you couldn't tell. Student body president, all that good stuff. There's a certain dopamine that comes from that is kind of hard to replicate because it's fulfilling. It feels like you did something good, you had to work for it, it didn't come quick. Maybe it came easy because you were, again, just better than everyone at a young age, but it came over time. And there's a certain dopamine when you get that award, when you get that applause, when you get that great job, and you go, this feels nice. Then we get a little bit older and those awards look a little different. We don't care as much. The competition pool gets way larger. So a lot of us subconsciously, we just quit. We don't care as much. We just want to fit in more, right? Oh wait, it didn't just come on a silver platter that we stand out? Okay, then I'll just kind of fit in with everyone. And it's a lot less dopamine. So here's where the problem is. It's not just, okay, well, we're not as happy. The problem is when you start supplementing it with cheap hits of dopamine. For a lot of guys, this looks like looking at shit on their phone they shouldn't be looking at. You get a little older, you're probably still doing that. But now it's smoking with the boys. Now it's going to the bar, or maybe just smoking alone. Going to the bar, getting obliterated on the weekend, or even worse, any chance you get. So we go from when we're younger, we win the award, we go to a nice dinner with our family, and it's just a good day. It's a good dopamine-filled day. We go from celebrating success to just running away from reality. The celebration and when you're younger, it's eating a good food. Maybe you're allowed dessert or soda or something. That gets supplemented when you're older for alcohol and stuff like that. And now we're not doing it to celebrate though. Now we're just doing it because we can. And it's super fun, but the next morning we feel so crappy, and then the next week sucks, but then we're living for the weekend. And do you see how that can be a problem, especially over time? The problem is not drinking itself or like doing something like that. The problem is that's your dopamine now. You're not actually making progress. You're not actually getting the dopamine from success. You're getting the dopamine from running away from reality. And that is screwing with your internal dopamine system, what produces that, what makes you feel good, not just good in the moment, but good about everything. You're just screwing that up. And it's a big problem. It's a big problem. But everyone does it, right? Everyone does it. We're supplementing too much stuff for cheap little hits of dopamine. You've heard that before, but have you really thought about what that looks like and how it develops into that? Oh, man. Next. The foids, if you know what foid means. Women, pretty much. Now, it's not women's fault. We need to make this clear. And I could do a whole other video, I probably will at some point, over accountability. So many men are so pathetic and they want to blame women for everything. Ultimately, it comes back to women. She did this. Why? But that's a separate video. But it's the pursuit of women or what we're filling the void with. So many young men are filling this emptiness because they're not making progress, because they're not working hard. They're filling this gap that they once had with girls. Even worse, they're not filling it with multiple girls. At least keep yourself busy, bro. You're filling it with one singular girl. And I'm not promoting being like, going after for a bunch of women and stuff, but you're filling it with one girl and you're getting so attached to that. And then when she realizes that, dang, this guy kind of sucks. Wait, this guy's a kind of a loser. He's not making money. He's living for the weekend. He's not making progress. He's really not ambitious. She leaves your ass and she filled the void. She was your everything. And now it's, oh, screw her, I'm so upset, blah, blah, blah. Buddy, it's your fault. Why did you not have more going on? You took this girl, you made her your everything. She realized, dang, this guy kind of sucks. She left your ass, and now you're all depressed because you allowed feelings to dictate your life. You convinced yourself, this girl is my everything. She left you, or it didn't work out, and now you're depressed. And it all started because you couldn't deal with being alone. You couldn't deal with not making progress. You couldn't deal with your life. I think if so many guys really look at why they're getting into a relationship, how much of it was you were really felt like you were in love or you could fall in love, or how much of it was a timing thing? And when you meet your wife, part of it's gonna be timing, but how much of it was just like, oh man, I don't like being alone, like, this is filling the void, and she's pretty, and yeah, she's fun, and now, oh, I really like her. How much of it started because you just couldn't deal with being alone in your own failure? So, I think that's a big one, and I don't think guys really realize that. You've got to be comfortable with yourself. And how do you be more comfortable with yourself? You work, you set your mind to something. You become, next point, less distracted. So many guys are distracted, and it's never been harder. Guys, trust me, I understand. It's never been harder to not be distracted, but at the same time, it's never been easier to make opportunities for yourself, right? There's always going to be it's always going to be like that, and it's only going to get more and more like that. It's always going to be easier to be distracted, but there's always going to be more opportunity. So many of us, we are consuming instead of producing. Does it not feel kind of weird to be on your phone every day looking at everyone's success and their happiness and their dopamine they built for themselves while you're in bed hating your life? And it's not about you're not successful so you should hate your life. No, guys, it's not about that. But it's about producing something. It's about trying to strive for these people you see online. But instead, you're just consuming it, and not to get too deep, but there really is something kind of scary what that does psychologically to you when you get this motivation for a second, or you get this oh, that's awesome, I want that, and you don't take action. That's actually really bad for you. When that builds over years, literally years. So much of us we're consuming instead of producing, or even worse, you're consuming brain rot, which I love brain rot means, but you're consuming nothing. It's like eating potato chips, you're eating empty calories, and it's destroying you. Or you do care about something, but it's the wrong thing. You're worried about something that literally has no implication on your life. Literally none. Like a sports team. Bro, at least gamble on the game. At least get some money involved. You're so worried about if this team wins or what's going on in this league or this player just got traded. Bro, he doesn't even know you. When Luka got traded, I saw every Dallas Mavericks fan, oh my God. Or every Texan, everyone, oh my God, we lost Luka. Fire Nico, fire Nico. Bro, why do you care? Does Luka know you? Oh man, it sucks, man. He was good in Dallas, but that's part of his job. He gets paid a lot of money. But no, it's, oh, Luka. Dude, they don't even know you. You're broke. Not to be too much like Tate, but it's not even you're broke. You have no motion. and you're like literally crying about Luka Doncic getting traded. What are we doing? I like Luka, by the way. Next point. Oh my gosh. And guys, this is like the one, this is the one I'll really like give y'all some emotion. And we will get a little deep on. So many men are just straight up scared, and it's pathetic. So many men are just scared for so much stuff, but mainly young men, to enter the real world. I'm seeing so many young people get married and as much at young, like 22, 23, 24, 25. Okay, I wouldn't say you're like a young man anymore, but you're seeing so many young people get married, and a big part of me wants to go, that's awesome, they're young and in love. But the truth is, we're in the real world, right, guys? Let's deal with reality. Let's not go with what we want to be true. Let's deal in reality and what is true. So many young men are popping this question, one, because the woman's pressuring them into, because she's scared to enter the real world, or even worse, they're scared. Dude, you don't even know what's in store. You haven't even found yourself out. You haven't even figured out how you're going to deal with bills, with the boss, with all this extracurricular stuff, all this external stuff that's going to come into your life and take a big toll on you, and everyone's going to be asking for a piece of you and all this. But you think you're ready to lead a woman in a relationship? You think you're ready to carry her into the real world with you? Who do you think you are? Whoa, guys, I have a big ego. Who do you think you are? And the biggest, and how I know it's true, well, Hunter, how do you know that's true? How I know it's true is if you're really locked in with a girl and you really do love her, what is the rush to get married? What is the rush to combine our families? Only expectation is because if you just really are in a rush to kids, which I don't understand that either, because why are we just putting ourselves in more and more of a financial burden? Or if you're just waiting to have sex until marriage, major props, and you really love your wife and you don't want to have sex with her and you want to get married. But even then, let's have some discipline, guys. Let's have some discipline to just wait until it's the right time, and then we can enjoy it more. But I don't even want to go at it from a religious perspective, even though that's what everyone masks it as. They mask it as this religious thing, and it's like, no, bro, in reality, you are just scared to enter the real world by yourself. Pathetic, in my opinion. Scared to find themselves. Same type of thing. They're scared to really look in the mirror. Young men are scared to look in the mirror and go, who am I? I haven't really done anything in 10, 15 years. I don't know what's out there. I'm scared. And even worse, they're scared to make a name for themselves. So many young men are slaves to everyone else's opinion. Maybe some guys don't even think they're capable of anything, which sucks. But some guys think, man, I could do this, but they're going to look at me weird, or I may have to lose some people, or they're going to judge me, or this, and it goes on and on and on. So you're telling me you're putting other people's opinions above what you want, and what your inner fire is telling you is possible and what you think you could be? Okay, you're a slave to everyone's opinions. Gotcha. All you should be worried about is, well, yourself, setting yourself up for success so then you can provide for the people you do care about. That's the whole goal at the end of the day, by the way. That is the whole goal. And what does Christ think? What does Christ think when he gives this thought, he gives this feeling that you can do this, man, you can do this. Oh, but God, you're ultimately arguing with God. That's how I feel about it. But God, they're going to look at me weird. How do you think he feels about that? Man, I put this vision, I put this want to in your heart, but you're scared about outside opinion? Or you're even worse, like you're trying to satisfy outside opinion. I don't want to do this, but it'll make XYZ happy, so I'm going to do it. And not when it's coming out of love. It's good to do stuff like that when it's coming out of love. It's not good to do stuff like that when it's coming out of pleasing people, Hopefully we're intelligent enough to know the difference. But here's the biggest thing, guys. all of this is related. All of this goes hand in hand in hand. And it doesn't mean you need to be just a loner and just like start a business. Like, I don't think starting a business is for everyone. I don't think being in like sales or something like that is for everyone. But it does mean let's get our priorities in check. Let's make sure we are max power level, or at least like on the road to that. Let's at least be striving for max power level before we start giving power to other people, right? And I think a lot of people, as I said at the beginning, are in for a really rude awakening when they've just been distracted, and subconsciously, everyone knows this, guys, and now it's like, oh, now I'm alone. You were scared to be alone the last 4 years. You didn't start dealing with it early and learning how to prepare, and now you're in an apartment, whatever it is, back with your parents, alone, working, something you don't want to be doing, not making any money starting out, and you go, man, this sucks. This really sucks. So if you're really young watching this, like 15, 16, please, please prepare yourself. Prepare yourself. Do not act like, and this isn't even about anyone specific, obviously, it's just stuff you notice from being online and talking to people across the country. I'm in college myself, I see this. You don't want to end up in this situation like 90% of people are putting themselves in. So, at the end of the day, I hope you learned something. If you're interested and enjoy this type of content, please subscribe. Check me out on Instagram, link in bio, but it'll be HunterNeely_. Send me a DM. I like reading y'all's comments. I want to get to know more of y'all and start building a relationship with some of y'all. So, at the end of the day, don't be a young man depressed. You do not want to be a depressed young man.